Welcome to Being Confident from Within with Natalie Potts, the podcast that shares what it really takes to be confident. I'm passionate about helping people grow businesses with confidence. Does it seem like everyone around you is naturally confident and sure of themselves? Well, the chances are they have self-doubts just like you. I'm in conversations with inspiring individuals to share what confidence means to them and to help you find ways to believe in yourself and create confidence at any time. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's kick off with you sharing a little bit about yourself and what you do, please.
Yeah, sure. So I am an alcohol-free coach. Coaching to me is fairly new. I've only been a qualified coach since September last year, and launched my business at the end of January. So it's all completely new to me. Having a great time. Tech is a complete nightmare, having to learn all the different platforms and never been on Instagram, very sort of not into Facebook massively. Building Carter, crumbs, I could go on forever. So that's been a real challenge. But being around like-minded people, like in Birmingham, HQ, as everybody calls it, has been fantastic because it's been such a super learning curve for me. And it's going well. It's just, the organic bit is super slow. And I only forget that I've only been in business since the end of January. And you're like, why have I only got 2 clients? Well, it's just how it is. And it's just a massive learning curve.
It is. I just, before we come on to a bit about confidence, obviously, like coaching myself, I absolutely love it. And I think it's incredibly powerful. It's not just like some people say, asking a bunch of questions and getting paid for it. So what do you find is the most powerful part of coaching for you?
It's seeing the changes in people. It's absolutely fantastic. I've been in the care sector for probably, I've worked it out actually, 38 years. So my vocation in life is a carer. That's what I've always done. That's where I've got a Christian faith. I believe God put me on this earth to help people. And even from being 12 years old, running to the shops for my elderly neighbours and, doing little jobs. It's just always been a part of my life. So once the back started and the neck started and the issues, I couldn't actually physically do it. And this coaching, through my alcohol-free journey, I was drinking probably a bottle of wine a night. And about in fact, I've just done over 1,000 days actually. So in October 2019, I gave up alcohol, and it had a massive transformation on my life. So I just decided, how fantastic it would be to share the journey that I'd been through, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, and I love it.
Spot on. I was working with a client yesterday. Most of everybody who's kind of in coaching, mentoring, etc., they want to help people where they were, and they always are ideally their own clients. So that's a pure example of that. So amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Coming on to this idea of the focus that I'm doing for August, which is to look at confidence. What does confidence mean to Carol?
I've really been thinking about this the last couple of days actually, and I've just put some notes down. There's like a couple of types of confidence. It's like having confidence in your product and service, which I, like many other coaches and people in business, have got complete confidence in their framework, their methodology, whatever it is they use, because they know it works, because they've seen the results. So having that confidence in your product is, I've got massive confidence like lots of other people. But then there's the confidence in the inner confidence in you, and that is what, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, what a lot of people struggle with, because it's all down to lots of factors, isn't it? How you were brought up, your education, your peers, your work environment. So confidence for me is, I'm just coming into my own. I'm 57 and I am just I've always been a massive learner and a self-developer always. And I am just coming into being more confident about myself. I spent many years people pleasing, like many other people. We all fear rejection, and it's that inner confidence of putting yourself out there. And yet you're going to make boo-boos, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay, because these mistakes are like massive learning opportunities. And I'm sort of treading on eggshells a little bit, thinking, you get so much advice from so many people on so many different things. And I've been in the military. I was in the military for 13 years. I follow rules.
Yeah.
So I have always been told what to do, and that is what I do. And I feel comfortable in that. So being put in a coaching space where I'm in my own business, where, like my husband says, Carol, it's your business, you can do what you want. That panics me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my good grief, what do I do? I don't know. And you're trying to sort of grab all these things, and then you get overwhelmed. So the confidence I am massively working on. I'm really working on hard about not to, if I put my foot in it, it really plays on my mind, and I've got to learn, haven't you? You've got to get that inner confidence. I've not got that brick wall that bounces off some people when something happens. Some people just bounce back, don't they?
Yeah.
And I'm just, again, self-developing through my thought process, through my coaching and the mindset. It's all about rewiring. And my mentor's Annie Grace, who we'll talk about later, because she's somebody I look up to. And she talks about perspective, and perspective being a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
And it was a revelation to me. It's like, take your glasses off, Carol, your perspective of how you've been brought up, how you see things, and put their glasses on and see it from their point of view and their perspective.
Yeah.
And I think, I was talking to my daughter about it, and I think, what a fantastic analogy. Because, once you can see things from all angles, you can deal with that gremlin in your head and get more confidence.
Yeah, it's really interesting. What I'm loving about doing these conversations with people is the similarities and the ideas that come through. And I love how you picked up there on empathy, thinking of somebody else. And I put it in something this morning that I was working on around the idea of reframing things. So I've been told recently I'm obsessed with fitness, and I think, okay, that's cool. My argument on that, well, it was not an argument, but my feedback and my instant bounce back to them was, because I am very resilient on things, I just turned around and said, well, maybe I just love the feeling of feeling good. And that's the way I look at it. And when it's like Wayne Dyer said, that when you change the way you see things, the things you look at change. And it's about, that's what's great about coaching too, is be able to one, help other people reframe things, exactly like you just shared about your mentor, but also that we start to, when coaching comes into its own, as well as we naturally start to coach ourselves and have those, we ask ourselves challenging questions all the time about, to the point of sometimes overthinking. But we are very reflective and conscious in terms of our thoughts, conscious in terms of our behaviors. And then when you've got that consciousness is the higher awareness, and then that's when you can bring the change that you need to, hence coaching. So I think it all draws so many similarities. It's a, like you just said, it's a beautiful share actually around this idea of perspective. Where do you think in life, you shared some points on tech at the beginning, where are some areas that you feel would probably really amplify your business or bring some abundance in life, if you had more confidence in those areas? What would those areas be?
I think I hold back on approaching people.
Okay.
I think that is my big downfall. And I've put up not a lot of resistance, but some of resistance with Ramel, who's my coach, who's successful and obviously rubbing shoulders with lots of people at Birmingham who are successful. And it's just taking on board what they're saying, because I know it will make a difference, but there's conflict in me thinking, like, say, being pushy, for instance. Like I'm having a conversation with people on Instagram for like 3 months, and they know what I do, they see my posts, and I want people to be, I'm not a pushy person. So I know that people are seeing my content, and it's down, and I give them the opportunity with the call to action. I'm not the aggressive person that jumps into people's inboxes and spams the heck out of them and is in there. And there's nothing wrong with that. If people feel comfortable doing that, then that's absolutely fine. And I wish I had a little bit of that in me instead of the organic, let's see where things go. And like at Belfry, when I went in, I think it was April time, Nick was sharing about just giving lots and lots of value. And my mentor, Annie Grace, is very much in abundance, give in abundance.
Yeah.
And I'm very much a give in abundance person. And I've got one, you get one mentor saying to you, well, you can sort of take them part of the journey, but not all the journey, which you understand. Yeah. And then it's like abundance. Where do you draw the line? So for me, it's I need to get better at approaching people and saying, this is what I'm offering. It's really going to change your life. Are you willing to jump on a discovery call? And it's actually get into that nitty gritty, because it's that rejection again, isn't it? It's just that fear.
Could I offer you some advice on what I would do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I always want to welcome that, but very much the same. Naturally as coaches, we over deliver and we give too much. It's definitely been a boundary that I've had to explore recently as well. But I do believe people are in pipelines for a while, in terms of before they become clients, and that's only looking at my own kind of ways of being and thinking around psychology of what I choose to do in behaviors. And I won't invest in anybody until I've really watch them for about 6 to 9 months, and that's just fact. So therefore I have to think, well, then my type of client is going to be the same as me, so how do I nurture that relationship in that period of time? So I kind of give myself now a 6 months, and then I thought, if I need to have gotten a conversation with them around looking at how we work together. Then if it's into the 9 months and they're still kind of just wanting to take my stuff wherever they show up, then I do get on a conversation to say, listen, I'll be really honest, I want to help you. You're in my pipeline. Let's be really transparent about what this looks like. What are we going to do to move you forward? Like, how can we work together? Now, I've got to make that more eloquent in style as such, but I do kind of put these positionings in that I have given a lot of value for 6 months. And it kind of gets to like a bit around, actually, you've had a call. Are we going to do business? What does this look like? Because you can't just, you got to know that, we are running businesses and we don't choose to run a charity. And that's what we choose to do. So, and we know the value we can offer and like you said at the start, the change we can bring people. So, you do have to play that part. And then it's not salesy. It's right to say the word sales, but it's this idea of serving. You have the potential to change their lives and help them.
Absolutely.
Right, and they need your help. Absolutely. And you know that when you've genuinely worked with people that have invested in you, it's just like, I just need loads of those people. That's what I need. And actually, when you think of that conversation, when you did have that person that became a client, it was a sale, but it didn't feel that. It felt that you were serving. It felt that they needed you as well. And it was a great relationship. So you can face rejection, everything, and it becomes about facing into a no and everything, as my coach gets me to do, and understand what that means, etc. But it is just about, confidence is doing, and you've got to get out there and do it, and you've got to feel that pain as such at points in order to think, what else do I need to do? You've got great people around you, like you said, that helps you. It's almost a trust, you're having the confidence to trust yourself with that at some point, isn't it, when you run your own business?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, if I get on a discovery call, you see, I've had several discovery calls, excuse me, but some of them have just, they've not been for me, because as an alcohol-free coach, you've got to be really careful that they've not got a physical dependency on alcohol. Yeah, sure. That's not my thing. And then I recommend they go and see their GP, which one lady has done. Another one had a really high anxiety, which was as a result of the alcohol, which she obviously couldn't see, but I knew through science and how it works. So I don't have an issue with them saying no. I think it's just me getting on the call and being that little bit pushy. But that's really helpful, Natalie, for you to say, give them 6 months, because I just think, should I be in there, not at them, but saying, I mean, I've just said, look, I'm here to help.
And I think, look, you sow the seed, but then you have to, and nothing's right or wrong, there isn't, and everybody's very different. And it's sometimes I'm saying that part of trusting yourself, and strangely just came into my life 3 times yesterday, trusting your gut on something.
I am completely with that. That's something intuition is a massive thing with me.
And I think that if we can, and this comes back to like we've been speaking about on other podcasts this week, about this idea of knowing yourself really well brings confidence. That, like you just shared, that intuition and that listening to what feels right, what doesn't feel right, and going with that. And I don't think sometimes we do that enough. We want to, because probably in some ways, if I think for myself, it's easier to push off any accountability when you do that, isn't it? So if it goes wrong, well, okay, well, that's what that person said or whatever. So it's an interesting part to think about.
I think the area that I coach in is a very taboo subject still. It's very hidden away, you see. So the women that I am in contact with, it's got to be the right time for them. And I can't go in all guns blazing saying you've got an issue with alcohol, because that's not how I work. They've got to want to do it. And in fact, this week on my social media platforms, I've just gone into LinkedIn. So I've done Danita's LinkedIn 3D workshop, which was fab. And I'm doing it all about readiness for change, because people have got to be ready, and it's okay. That's the thing. A lot of these conversations I'm having, they're probably not ready yet. And they're probably in my pipeline. Like, Matt talks about fleshing out your pipeline, but sometimes people might have to sit with me for 4-6 months before they make the decision that the time's right. I mean, I tried for years to moderate, couldn't. And there's a lot of women out there soaking up my content, trying to do it themselves. And then they'll get to a point where they think, I just can't do this. I need to speak to Carol. So it's a waiting game sometimes. Yeah,
for sure. What qualities do you think lots of people have when you look at them and think they're already confident? What is it about them that makes you think that?
I was thinking, because I looked at, who I look up to, or I follow Rob Moore. Now, Rob Moore is a completely different person and personality to me, but I look at him and I just think he just doesn't care. He just wants people to not like him, and he wants people to troll him, and but that persona, I think we can all put a persona and this surface on out there in the big wide world. But when you look, there's chinks in the armour. And I just think, I wonder what it's really like at home. I wonder if he's a bit indecisive sometimes. And he's such a lovely man. He's got a big heart. I'm in his gold group and the Rob Dot team. And what a lovely guy. What a lovely guy. He wants to give so much, and he gets so much stick. And I just think, I wish I could be so like that bravado that he's got, but that's not my personality, so I'll never be like that, because that's not me. But I look up to him and just think, wow, what a great guy. But there's loads of people around me that have got lots of confidence, but I often wonder whether it's just an outward thing sometimes. And it's a thing, like we're saying, we're working on. And I think as well, I'm not saying that I know anybody like this, but I know that there's a fine line between ego and confidence as well. And I think you've got to be so careful, because ego is very all about me, self, whereas confidence, my inner confidence, is all about empathy, compassion, being humble, having integrity, and a quiet confidence, which is what I feel I've got. And what other coaches have as well. And it's having that quiet confidence, but also measuring it and bringing it up to putting yourself out there, but not having a massive ego, because if you start battering people with your ego, you're never going to get anywhere.
No, it's a great reflection. Coming on to, you shared about your mentor. So who has been your best mentor and why?
Annie Grace is who I did my coach training with. She is an American lady, and she's just an all-round beautiful person. She's very very vulnerable. She's got a deep faith as well, and it's just that inner knowing that she's got. It's like that deep-rooted confidence. She's really I think I wrote some things down here about her. Where did I put it? Here we are. She's got a heart for other people. There's absolutely no judgment. And that's another thing, working on taking your judgmental specs off and just seeing people where they're at. And I get to meet with Annie every Wednesday because I'm in her mastermind, and we go through, we'll have an hour and a half with another 40 or 50 coaches on a Zoom. She's straight talking, which is great. I'm a Yorkshire lass. I call a spade a spade. I wrap it up in cotton wool, and I'm never blunt. And that's my problem sometimes. I'm never like in your face with it. I'll wrap it around something fluffy and deliver it that way. And that's how I am, because that's how I enjoy. Yeah. I want to say I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not like, oi, pack it in, don't do that, that's weird. I'll wrap it up and say, oh, thanks, that's really nice, but I felt, that felt a bit, I'll go on to wrap it up. So yeah, and there's never no mistakes with Annie. It doesn't matter what you've done. And that's what I love about the coaching space and the academy and mastermind. Is it's all about, we call them data points in alcohol life. So if you have a data point and you fall off the wagon, it's like no shame, no beating yourself up. It's a learning experience. Yeah. And that's what it's like in life, and that's what it's like in business. It's a massive learning experience. Yeah, I think that's again, it goes back to this idea of confidence is about learning, and I think being vulnerable to learn as well. And absolutely, yeah. And clearly, all of the work and investment you're making in your own business and your own development, which is inspiring in itself, just shows that you're out there saying I need help on things, and you say like I need help on this, and that's really key as well, because otherwise you can't get there, and then you have to do the work, invest, etc. And do it. And it's it's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that. Where can people connect and find with you, Carol? I am on Instagram at Warrior Mum Coaching. Yeah. I'm on Facebook. If you look up Warrior Mum Coaching, I've got a public Facebook group. I've got a private Facebook group for ladies that are drinking that just want some support to get going. And that's on my link tree on my Instagram, but warriormumcoaching.com. And I've just opened up on LinkedIn. So amazing. Look, and I'm Carol Urry. I'm Carol Urry on LinkedIn, I think. Bless you. Thank you so much for your time. I really value it. Oh, thank you, Natalie. It's great to share. Thanks ever so much. Thank you for listening to Being Confident from Within. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it inspired you in trusting no matter what happens in any particular situation, you'll be able to handle it and learn from the outcome. I really love hearing from you, so please leave a review and let me know which part of the episode resonated with you the most. Have an amazing day.